almost there, folks. Hey, and good morning, everybody. It's Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine, the podcast. Got some new music here this morning. Sorry, I'm starting a little late here this morning. I was reading this article, fantastic article this morning, and I got carried away. And before I knew it, I was already on. It was 8:30. So this has been the way it's been this morning. Today we're going to talk about optimism, and I'm very excited about that because really that's where you want to be. You want to be optimistic in life. So we're going to talk about optimism. We're going to talk about 6 tips on being optimistic, and we're going to give you the reasons why being optimistic is, where you want to be at in life. So stick around, and you will enjoy the show. And I got some new music. If you noticed, got some new music I'm playing this morning, which is it's really rock and roll. It kind of, going back to the roots, folks. Yeah. And for those of you who are just joining us for Facebook and you're watching us on YouTube, really want to thank you for being a part of the show. We come to you Monday through Friday about 8:30 in the morning till, about, 9 o'clock-ish or so. And we bring you tips and tricks and people and that kind of thing. Anything we can do to help you become a better person, become a better business person, a better mom, dad, dog trainer, whatever, we all need it. And once again, I'm your host, Sherman Ray, and I just want to thank you for being a part of the show, folks. If you like what you see, go to our website, which is blacksuccessmagazine.com, and check out our articles. You can send me an email at blacksuccessmagazine.com, and I will thank you ever so much about being a part of what we do. And so I think that's cool stuff that we're working on today. Let's talk about optimism and why you want to be optimistic. Now, this is probably, I think this is going to speak to a lot of people because we can all tend to be some people tend to be either one or the other. You tend to be an optimist or you tend to be a pessimist in life. And I'm reading some scientific stuff on this, and a lot of it has to do with your upbringing, okay? And yet there's still a little wiggle room in your ability to be a different person in life. So you don't have to say, okay, I was raised around, a military general, and so he was regimented and he was always looking at life, frowned and everything else, so I'm going to be that way. It's not always that way. Some of the most optimistic people in the world have been raised in really just, dire straits. And some of the most pessimistic people are the same way. They were just brought up in really bad situations. So there is a lot of room for you to, to determine what you're going to be in life. But there are some real world consequences to either one of them. People who are optimistic, or people who tend to look at life in a more positive sense, people who tend to see the bright side of life, people who tend to be very, they'll look at a trash can. And I used to be a consultant, or not a consultant, but a counselor. And one of the things that we would talk to people about is we would say, hey, you can see a trash can and see good stuff. You can see like today when I was driving back home after dropping off the lovely Mrs. Ray at work this morning. I was getting behind and we happened that my wife and I, if my wife's watching today, we were getting behind cars the whole way to dropping her off at work. And as we're kind of looking at all these cars, one of the things I was thinking was, boy, it's so great that we get stuck behind these cars because now we can spend a little bit more time together. Or you could look at it another way and you could say, it's really the way you look at things. Or you see a bunch of cars on the road and they're blocking your way to getting from here to there. Well, you could look at it saying, oh, they're blocking my way to getting from here to there. Or you could look at it this way. You could say, boy, there's a lot of people working, which means the economy is good, which means people are happy. It's the way you look at things in life that really determine or define an optimist from a pessimist. And it's not that that there are not negative things that happen in life, but it's the way you look at things in life that will determine whether you are a pessimist and an optimist. So we're gonna take a look at that, and then we're gonna give you 6 ways to stop being to become. See, you got to watch the words you say too. We're going to give you 6 tips on becoming an optimist in life, and I think that this is going to probably blow your mind. And so, one, I'm going to give you early right now. Okay, I'm going to give you I'll give you a sneak preview of becoming an optimist, and this will help you out tremendously. First thing in the morning, do not look at Facebook. Okay, don't look at your emails. Don't look at Facebook until you have to, or any kind of social media at all. Okay, I have not been on social media until just now. That was it. That was where I started my day, and I didn't even look at my watch. Okay, I think my wife got us going this morning because it's just kind of a natural part of what we do in the morning. But I didn't look at my watch until I was actually kind of late getting this show started. And guess what? I feel pretty good. I'm not upset about it at all, not even in the least. We got the day started. So that's kind of a sneak peek. So let's get started with today, talking about becoming an optimist. 6 tips on how to become an optimist. And we're going to do a little background on this first, okay? As we were saying before, anyone can learn to be an optimist, or to be optimistic. The trick is to find purpose in work and in life. Okay? There's a doctor at Stanford who says that they specialize in mindfulness in the workplace. When we work with purpose or live with purpose, we feel more fulfilled and better equipped to see the glass half full. So you've got to find something in life. You've got to begin to find things in life that get us turned on about life. This is probably one of the more important things in life. If you have no purpose in life, it's really pretty easy to get pretty down, because then you're thinking to yourself, well, I got nothing to do, nothing to do in life. So I was reading through this great article. I'm going to read parts of it for you because I think this really is worth. Okay. Let's talk about what optimism is, okay? And then we'll talk about 6 tips in the last half we'll talk about 6 tips on how to become optimistic. What is optimism? Optimism is a mindset that enables people to view the world, other people, and events in the most favorable, positive light possible. Some people describe this as the glass that's half full mentality. Optimists do acknowledge negative events, but they are more likely to avoid blaming themselves for the bad outcome, inclined to view the situation as a temporary one, and likely to expect further positive events in the future. So it's a mindset. When you go into life, you're not saying to yourself, "Oh, woe is me! Life is going to be sucked for the rest of my life." That's really a pessimistic mindset. An optimist says, this is a temporary thing. Being poor, being uneducated, living in a bad neighborhood. Those are temporary things. And they're you're like a book. Okay, we're all like a book, and we're unraveling. Or we're like an onion, we're unraveling. And the optimist says it's just a temporary thing. It's a temporary state of mind, or a temporary state that I'm in. I'm looking for the best in life, and you're always looking for the best. I like the way it starts, because an optimist can go through life, and there will be bad things happening around them all over the place. and yet they are not going to blame themselves for it because they know they more than likely have nothing to do with it. Or number two, that it's only going to be a temporary state that they're in. And that's a really a cool way to live. Even when I woke up this morning, and I'll give you examples of this. When I woke up this morning, and I knew what I was going to talk about today. I mean, I knew it because I was dreaming about it. I was dreaming about what am I going to talk to you folks here on Facebook or on YouTube today. What am I going to talk about today? And I said, you know what? We live, 2020 has been one of the worst years in record. I mean, nobody would have ever woken up and said, hey, guess what? I think there's going to be a global pandemic that's going to shut down the rest of the world and affect people's lives and do all the stuff that it's done. Nobody would have ever thought that. And yet, and so when I was thinking about talking about something, I said, you know what, we need a shot in the arm. Because even though we're going through this terrible time in life, it's only temporary. It's not going to last forever. This pandemic is not going to last forever, even though it seems like it is. The economy being in the sewer is not going to be forever. It's only temporary. And if we look at life and say to ourselves, you know what, this is only temporary. This is only temporary. This is only temporary. Looking towards and starting to set ourselves up for 2021, 2022, because even though we have no control over our lives and we don't know whether we're going to be alive in 21 or 22, we can begin to start setting ourselves up for 21 and 22. When you start looking at life that way, you start getting happy. Because right now you're just having to wait it out. We're just waiting it out, folks. And that's really kind of what we're doing in life. Is we're kind of waiting out this pandemic. We know that there are great minds out there, and it's already proven that there are great minds out there that are working on vaccines, therapeutics, all kinds of therapies that are going to kind of end this whole thing. We've had worse, folks. Put it this way, we've had worse things that have happened in life. We just happen to be living in this one right now. So we need a shot in there. We need a shot of optimism. We need somebody to remind us that, guess what, this is not going to last forever. Not that we're not going to acknowledge that something is terrible going on, because it is, but we're not going to let it affect us to the point where we're going to just fold up and die. What time do we have here? I'm going to run out of time. I don't want to run out of time. Okay, good. All right. I was going to hope to go through this whole thing. I'm not going to be able to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch gears here, because if I don't switch gears here right now, I'm not going to be able to give you the 6 tips on how to be optimistic. But so before we get going on that though, there are health benefits derived from being optimistic. One is the calming effect of not having to be just all uptight about things all the time and just being kind of angry all the time. They're myriad. They really are. There's tons of benefits of being optimistic. One is cardiovascular. I mean, your heart, your mind, you're not going to be upset all the time. They equate people who are being optimistic, and especially in women, they're saying that women will live 30% longer. The test people that they've had, 30% longer. That's pretty amazing. I mean, that's a bold statement to say that you're going to live longer. You just have a better quality of life. You tend to attract people around you that are much nicer people. I mean, they really are. You tend to earn more money if you are an optimistic person. I mean, that's just kind of. It's just because people want to be around you. You tend to gravitate towards those kind of jobs, those kind of businesses that are a part of your life. So there's tons of benefits of being an optimistic person. Plus, you're just a nicer person to be around. Okay, optimistic people are just kind of. I've got one of my daughters, especially. I mean, all my kids are really great kids, but my one daughter in particular, she's just eternally optimistic. I was actually writing a book about her. Because that's just kind of her thing. She's always laughing and always kind of goofy. to the point where you're kind of like, you cannot be upset around it. So that's amazing. So let's talk about becoming a more optimistic person. I'm going to give you 6 tips on how to do that. Get a cup of coffee real quick. It's good stuff. Okay. Here's some quick language tips, and the words you say are very powerful. And there's a biblical scripture that really addresses this, that your words have meaning and they're very powerful. Stop using negative phrases such as "I can't," "it's impossible," or "this won't work." Such statements program your mind to look for negative results. The words you say will program your mind to look for those things. I can't. It's always. Okay, there's certain, Black Success Magazine is geared for one purpose: to retrain your mind, to retrain black entrepreneurs' minds, to the black community, to retrain our mind to start looking at the positive in life. Because guess what? There's big money in negativity. If folks can get black folks upset, then there's big money in that. So we need to endeavor to become more optimistic people, because we're rock stars. Okay, there is nothing that black people cannot do. Okay, and we prove the world right every single time. The world knows that black folks are just rock stars. We just do it. Okay, so. But we train our minds. We program our minds to think negatively when we say negative things, or we allow that to come into us on a constant basis. Things like saying "I can't," "it's impossible," "they're after us," that kind of stuff. Okay, that programs us to look for negative things. And if you look for negative things, you're going to find them. You're definitely going to find them. If you're looking for a red Volkswagen in life, you're going to find that red Volkswagen, and you won't see anything else. All you're going to see is a red Volkswagen. And today, that's what you're going to find. So just because I said it, you're going to be looking for a red Volkswagen. Number 2, when asked, "How are you?" this should be your response. Terrific. I feel great. Fabulous. I've never felt better. That's the way you want to answer somebody. I feel great. Okay? Even if you don't feel great. Okay? I feel awesome. Okay? Even if you're in constant pain all the time, I feel awesome today. Okay? Or rather than saying words like, "Okay, I'm fine. I'm getting by." Oh gosh. Those are the kind of people you run from, right? I mean, you run from those people. You're saying, "Wow, I got a wash now that I've asked you how you're doing today." You're programming yourself. When somebody asks you how you feel, I feel like $1,000,000. You know what? There should be 2 of me. I feel like 2 people because I feel so good in life. Okay? Number 3, stop complaining about things over which you have no control. Such as the economy, you have no control over that. Your company, most of the time, or your customers. Stop complaining. This is something, especially things you have no control over. I mean, there's some things you just don't have control over, and you're never going to be able to change them. So why complain about them? Number 4, stop griping. Stop griping about your personal problems and illnesses. Oh, God. Sometimes you even want to ask people how they're feeling, because they're going, "Oh, I've got this drippy thing that's going on, and oh gosh, you want to see it? It's oozing," right? And you go, "Oh my gosh, why did I even ask you?" Stop griping about your personal problems and illnesses. What good does it do other than depress you and everyone else? Okay? When you talk about how bad you feel, guys, I'll tell you, I've got some serious health issues, and I've never spoken about them. And until the day I die, that's probably the way it's going to be. Okay? Because there's really no reason to depress you about things that are going on in my life. It is not going to benefit you. it doesn't benefit anybody. It definitely doesn't benefit me by acknowledging that I've got stuff going on. Okay, that's why I do radio, because I've got a radio face, and that's a great thing. Being a radio guy. So stop griping, especially about your personal problems, things that are going on in your life. Number 5. Substitute neutral words for emotionally loaded ones. I'll give you an example. Rather than saying, I'm enraged, okay, say things like, I'm a bit annoyed. You can't even say I'm a bit annoyed in a loud voice. You can't say it in a I'm annoyed. Okay, you can't even say it that way. It doesn't even sound right. Or better yet, say, you know what? I got some real challenges in life. I got some real challenges in life, and it just diminishes that negativity. We're not saying that you don't have negative things going in life, but it's the way you cope with them. It's how you address them that makes the difference. Optimistic people are not Pollyanna-ish people. We don't see life through rose-colored glasses. We react to life with rose-colored glasses. That's the difference. And when you react to life differently, things happen to you differently. You slow down a little bit more. You're more zen-like. Okay, you tend to eat bean pies. No, you don't. You don't eat bean pies. But you know what I mean? It's just a different way of looking at life. If people want to be upset, then let them go that way. Okay, let them go that way. Let them be upset at life, and God bless them and everything else. But that's not the course you're on. If you are listening to this and you are continuing to listen to this this podcast this morning, it means because you want to be different. You want to live a life that is just on fire. You want to attract to yourself great things in life. Okay, that's why you're listening to this. Other people are saying, I'm going to turn that off. Forget it. I like being upset all day. Dang it, I like being pissed off. I like having that twisted ulcer, and I like having my gut upset all the time because I'm always watching negative and listening to negative stuff. I like that. Okay, well, fine. God bless you. You go ahead and do that. That, as for me and my house, I'm not doing it. I really avoid it like the plague. And I'll tell you, I'm probably one of the most political people in life. I really am. I'm a very political person. But there's a difference between fighting for things that you can change and being just political about things and just being a total dink about things. Okay, there's a difference. Okay, you need to, the things you can control, you can address those things. There's a positive way of addressing things that you can change. But being an optimist means that you're not getting upset about things you cannot change. There's certain things in life that I'm not going to be able to change at all, and so I'm just not going to get upset about them. The guy who's driving 100 miles an hour down the street next to me, you know what I do for that guy? I pray for him. I say, God, I hope that this guy doesn't hit somebody. If he does hit something, Lord, please let it just be him. Him by himself, off to the side, and don't let him hit anybody else. Lord, thank you, Jesus, and I drive my way. Or I say to myself, and you could practice this, and I do this all the time. I say to myself, boy, there is no place that I am in that much of a hurry to get to. I'm going to move out of the way and get out of that person's way. I'm not going to get upset about it because I can't change that guy. I'm not going to change him by going, waving my fist at him and being all upset about it. It's not going to happen. Why? Why would I do that? You don't need to do that. Okay? So, substitute, the last point we were just talking about was substituting neutral words for emotionally loaded words. Instead of being, I'm outraged, I'm just pissed off at life, saying, I'm a bit annoyed. Or, gosh, I've got some real challenges. Somebody asked you, are you upset about that? Yeah, I've got some challenges that I'm dealing with. Yeah, I've got some challenges I'm dealing with. That's number 6. And thank you, folks, for being a part of the show today. This is actually one of my favorite shows. We will continue to talk about having a better attitude and having an optimistic attitude in life, because I think it is a better way of living than it is being upset all the time. Number 6, expunge profanity and obscenity from your vocabulary. Expunge them. Get rid of them. Most people, unless I am incredibly upset, have probably never heard me curse, because it's never been a part of my life. I was raised that way, raised by little Jamaican ladies, and it was never a part of growing up in life. It's just not a part of who I am. Obscenity, just don't do it. It's just, those are things that suck life out of you. Such words are always signs of a lazy mind that can't think of something really witty to say. So, or avoid people who do speak that way, or avoid lyrics that way, especially in, we've got music out nowadays that just glorifies that. There's also motivational speakers who that's part of what they think is cool. It's a lazy mind. It's just a lazy mind. There are so many cool ways of saying things. There's a show, and we're going to run out of time. There's a show that I watch all the time. I won't even tell you what the name of the show is. But what I love about this show is the way that the star of the show uses turns of phrases. Like, instead of saying, because at one time, this guy, I know I'm laughing about it, but the guy broke his leg, and he was talking to his family about how he broke his leg, and they said, well, did it hurt real bad? He goes, I cried like the woman at the well. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is the funniest thing I've ever heard. I cried like the woman at the well, and those are minds that are working, and they're witty minds, and they're just, doesn't that sound like better than saying, oh, I cried like a stuck pig, no, I cried like the woman at the well, or effing flimin' sorry about that. People really want to talk to me, so they call me at all kinds of hours. So people who use obscenity or profanity, you are not going to be that person. Use other ways. Think about something. Think of something else, something more witty than that to use. Anyways, folks, I really appreciate that. We thought we would get on to something else, but this is a great subject. It really is, being a more optimistic person. I would write this article today, or write a part of it today, but I'm going to go play some golf here in a little bit. And so we'll get it in later this week, where we're going to be writing about being a more optimistic person. I want to thank you folks for being a part of the show today. This has been Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine, the podcast. And we'll see you guys again tomorrow, 8:30 in the morning. Bye-bye. Be optimistic, live long and prosper, y'all. We will talk to you again tomorrow, 8:30 in the morning.